Cody with Right Hand here. Today we're going to talk about the Ckye-Pod by MDT. I'm always testing out bipods, and as I said, I would be doing little tidbit videos on different bipods we've tried out to help you with purchase decisions if you're trying to outfit your LMG, American RPK, or anything working with that type of rifle. So the MDT bipod comes in at a ridiculously high price. It is a PRS style bipod, so it has a lot of features built for the precision rifle competition world, but they make a version here, which is also probably the most expensive one they make, which is the heavy duty bipod. And the heavy duty bipod is absolutely capable of handling all the weight you're going to stick on to a rifle build, an LSW build like this, and it has a lot of articulation built in. And so we're going to go over some of the features of what makes it kind of unique and some of the pros and the cons, and let you know what we think about it. So far I've enjoyed it, but I have my opinions on it. So we're going to bring in the camera here and we're going to rock out and show everything that's going on with this particular bipod. We're going to do our best not to scuff up this bench here, but the first thing we'll start talking about is the feet. These come with some ridiculously spiky, grippy feet, and boy do they stick into absolutely everything extremely efficiently. I actually really like these. Even on concrete and stuff, they stick. Like, these are really well thought out. These feet can be interchanged for other types of feet that MDT offers. Basically it's just a screw and they pop out. From there, we'll talk about the legs. The legs have tons and tons and tons and tons of throw out. Like, you can make this bipod very big. Absolutely will clear every 40 round magazine or whatever you might be using. It will adjust to a lot of surfaces, and that's kind of nice. The thing is too about it is you have to push the button to get it in, but if you want it out, you just grip it and rip it. So you get it out to where you want. You can throw it down pretty easily. Got a nice depress button here, slides them in. They're covered in some grip tape. I don't really care. I would like to spray paint this at one point because there's a lot of shiny stuff on this, but that's something to keep in mind. So the legs, they have a ton of articulation. So they're really meant to get on like absolutely crazy uneven terrain. So if you're in the mountains, this is a really good articulating bipod for that type of purpose. The other fun things are these legs. They have this adjustment here, and that's how you move the legs forward and back. So you can rock down to this kind of aggressive lower profile and then really load this bipod. You can load the absolute daylights out of this thing. Why? It's so strong, it doesn't matter. You can put a lot of weight behind this. And then to run it to where it's up all the way out, you gotta grab that little knob here and pull it down. So deploying this is not as fast as some of the other bipods I have, but it does deploy pretty easily. It's pretty intuitive. The other thing is too, right here on the back of the bipod, you got some more buttons, and these buttons allow you to articulate the legs out. So you can run this super wide, and of course too, I mean, you can really put this in. So if you're in like a dug in position, this bipod's pretty awesome for that. Like, if you don't have a tripod, this really can kind of fit that trench style, you know, deployment purposes, I guess. It's pretty cool. But I mean, you think about how all this works, and you can kick this out. Now you're at a forward wide out cant. You can also run it forward all the way there. So if you like that style there, you're built in for that. Or you can roll this tighter, which gets it nice and thin, and then your legs can kick out in a much more vertical stance. And then again, now you've just gained, I'm out of camera view here, gained an absolute ton of vertical lift. So if you're in a position where you need that, you can do that. So I usually run it at the 40 deal, 45-ish offset here. It's a pretty solid setup. The other thing that this bipod offers, besides all the articulation forward at 45 and then sweeping in and out, which also gains you elevation and all that fun stuff, is the feature that I wanted the most for it, which is the ability to roll the gun. So this knob here is your strength. You tighten this, it locks the bipod. This bipod though still has a lot of play. It's crazy how much play it still has, but it actually kind of helps it in when you load it out, which is kind of nice. But the ability here to loosen this knob, and I mean tons of cant, like all the cant on the planet. So probably one of the closest ways to get your bipod into a position of where you're kind of like rocking the barrel mounted style bipods is a bipod that allows you to literally roll this much, which the MDT Ckye-Pod allows you to roll this thing a ton. So reloads are super easy with this, and you can get it into any position you need to. But if you were in a tight spot, or maybe you're up on a hill, you can lock that in and still keep your gun vertical. And it's a pretty easy thing to work with. I wish it was not bright stainless. It's a pretty huge color. I would like to paint it. But this allows you to do an absolute ton of adjustments and gives you, I mean, all the cant you could possibly imagine with it. Now the other thing is this bipod, you can take your Allen key and there's a little screw back here, right up here at the top, and when you loosen that, you can get all the pan you can possibly desire. So this, in its unlocked position, can pan an absolute ton, basically 360. So you can either run this facing forward or you can run this facing backwards, but you could also loosen it up and run your pan. You can tighten that screw and give you a little bit more resistance in the turn, or you can loosen it up and make it nice and easy. So strafing fire and grazing fire, all that fun stuff. If you're a former military machine gunner, this bipod allows you to kind of do that in a role of almost like having a tripod, but it's just in a bipod. And you can lock that solid. Typically, I tighten this up and I don't use the pan feature too much. Quite honestly, it's if you leave it loosened like this without that screw tight, you get some more play. Again, that's my biggest complaint about this bipod is how much play is in it in its like fixed state. You know, again, that goes away the moment you load into that bipod, but you're gonna notice that. And so for me, it's just kind of an OCD thing. It has this huge block here, and on this big block, it is they call it a barricade stop. So you can run it the opposite direction and then ram into a barricade, or you can pull it against a barricade if you needed to. It's a lot of material. It's absolutely a ton of material. And that's gonna lead us to one of the cons I'll have to say about this bipod is it weighs 2.2 pounds. It's a heavy boy. So the moving it around is not necessarily the easiest thing on the planet. But then again, the more weight you have out front, congratulations, you're not lifting up the muzzle as much. So it does work. The other thing that's nice about it though is also its pro and its other con is the ability to take it on and off. So how that's achieved is here on the left side of the gun, you have this little push button, and that just kicks the block out, and then you can slide this on your pick rail. And this is for like a competition. This is where the competition really starts to really show itself. It's because the idea is you can just slide your bipod and just dive into positions. But if you're like me, I like a rock solid mount. So it's never gonna be a truly rock solid mount on the rail here. It's got some play. The reason why it doesn't have as much play now is because there's a rail cover, which you can back that right into a rail cover and kind of eliminate some of that. But the reason why they did this was so you can put it on and be like, oh, I need to go here. I can slide this down and lock it in and be quicker in the back. So if you needed to bring it closer to the back of the gun or forward to the gun, That's what that's for, is the quick adjustability factor. That's where that competition comes into this bipod. For a, you know, duty use style, it features a little, I don't know, it may suit your needs. To me, I wish this was a lock, personally. Just they'll throw a lock that will allow you to slide it, but when it locked, it clamped. The Arca version probably does something similar to that, but my example, the pick rail one here, it just slides. So that's something to keep in mind when it comes to the MDT Ckye-Pod and how it's set up in that nature of back and forth, forth and back. So, you know, but the other thing is, at that point though, if you want to just rock your rifle and then put this in your pouch or a belt kit or something like that, you definitely can leave it all just set up to your angles that you want, and then if you get to a position where you need it, you can slide it on and deploy it pretty quickly. So that's something to keep in mind with this type of bipod. Overall, it's a neat bipod. It's really expensive. It is absolutely too much money, in my opinion. For a PRS bipod, this is absolutely right in the slot of a good budget, amazing quality bipod for PRS shooters. For your everyday citizens out there that are building out a light support weapon, this might offer that for you, and it might be worth the squeeze. Though it's a pricey item. I like having it. It's definitely still not 100% my go-to bipod. It has a lot of cool features in it though, and it has a ton of potential. I mean, if you really want some of these deals and you're willing to sacrifice the lockup, the little bit of looseness to it, and the weight of 2.5 or 2.2 pounds, which is heavy, and you're willing to truck that around, it's still a great bipod. Like it was well thought out. I think a slimmed down version of this, where they kind of eliminated some weight here in a few places and maybe knocked out a few different articulation spots and made a limiter in it, maybe, I think it could be a really good combat bipod. But it's not. It's built for the PRS world. So just keep that in mind when you look at something like this. A lot of guys though are going to really like the feature of being able to just completely roll your gun to the side, which I totally get. That's the reason why I originally bought it, was to make rolling the gun for reloads and manipulations extremely easy. I also like the pan feature. It's a really good bipod, like I said, for a static position. Patrolling may not be the thing, but if you don't plan on doing a lot of patrolling and you're doing a lot more defensive stuff, this actually might be right up your alley. So just wanted to show that off to everybody. So hopefully it answers any questions you might have with this particular bipod. There's not a ton of content out there. MDT has an amazing YouTube channel, though. I highly recommend you go over there, like and subscribe to their stuff, because they have a lot of fun lore that they just put to bed, which is awesome. I really like that. They have a little bit of talks about what their Ckye-Pod is, but I felt there was a lot of information missing from that, especially for me, not being a PRS shooter. And trying to take something and try it into a different completely. I mean, they didn't design this for this purpose, but again, we're civilians. We can kind of pick our own equipment and tailor stuff to our needs. So I felt that was something worth trying out. Other than that, feel free to leave some comments or hit us up at info@redrighthandllc.com. Go ahead and check out our website, redrighthandllc.com, where you can see our whole lineup of different auto rifle style upper receivers, from the 20-inch to the 16-inch IARs. I mean, you name it, we got it. If you're looking to do this type of build, we probably offer something for you. So thanks for watching today, and until next time, thank you.